Find the equation of the tangent line for y equals the square root of 2x plus 8 divided by x plus 4 at the point x equals 4. To find the equation of the tangent line, we need the x and y coordinates of the point, and right now we have only the x coordinates. So the first thing we need to do is plug that in to the function y equals the square root of 2x plus 8 over x plus 4 to find the corresponding y coordinate. So y coordinate will be y evaluated when x is a 4. And that'll be the square root of 2 times 4 plus 8 divided by 4 plus 4. 2 times 4 is 8. So the square root of 8 plus 8 over 4 plus 4. 8 plus 8 is 16. 4 plus 4 is 8. Square root of 16 is a 4, so we end up with a 4 over 8, which reduces to a 1/2. And we have the point 4 comma 1/2. The next thing we need is the slope of the tangent line. That's the derivative. So we're going to be taking the derivative of the function. And the function up here is a quotient. But before we take the derivative using the quotient rule, let's rewrite this numerator as first power, second root, 1/2 power, so that we can use the power rule for the derivative. Our derivative, y prime or dy dx, will then be derivative of the numerator. So we bring the 1/2 down, we leave the inside alone, we subtract 1 from the power, I will call that 2/2. We multiply by the derivative of the inside to complete the chain rule, times the denominator left alone minus the numerator left alone, times the derivative of the denominator, which will just be a 1. And all of this over the denominator squared. To find the slope, we're going to be plugging the x-coordinate into this, so we need to simplify this only as much as needed to where we can plug the x-coordinate in. We don't have to simplify it as much as what's needed to find the function derivative. So we will need to simplify this a little bit here, though, because we're going to have a negative exponent here, for sure, so we'll need to find that. And then we generally want to put the constants in the front and multiply them. We have a 1/2 and a 2. And everything's multiplied. 1/2 times 2 is a 1, so those will cancel each other out. And our y prime or dy dx will be a 2x plus 8 to the 1 minus 2, which is negative 1/2 power, times the x plus 4, minus 1 times the 2x plus 8 to the 1/2. 1/2 means square root. I'll leave the denominator alone. Now we have a negative exponent. This will move to the denominator of just this term, so it's going to move below that. So we will have x plus 4 over what will be 2x plus 8 to the positive 1/2. So our derivative y prime or dy dx can be rewritten using one more step, because we can rename that 1/2 power as first power square root, so just square root of the 2x plus 8. And this is probably going to be as simplified as we really need to have it in order for us to be able to plug in. And so now I'm going to evaluate y prime of the x-coordinate of 4 to give us our slope. And that will be 4 plus 4 over the square root of 2 times 4 plus 8 minus the square root of 2 times 4 plus 8, and then all this over 4 plus 4 squared. So in the numerator, 4 plus 4 is an 8. 2 times 4 is an 8. And likewise in this root. And then down here, 4 plus 4 is an 8. So we have 8 over the square root of 16 minus the square root of 16, and then all divided by 8 squared, which is 64. The square root of 16 is a 4, so we have an 8 over a 4 minus a 4 all over a 64. 8 over 4 is a 2, so 2 minus 4 over 64, which is a negative 2 over 64, or a negative 1 over 32. We now have the slope, we have the point. We can set up the equation of the tangent line by y minus the y-coordinate of the point equals the slope, negative 1 over 32, times x minus the x-coordinate of the point. We're going to want to solve for y here, so we're going to distribute the negative 1 over 32 in. So we'll have a negative 1 over 32x plus a 4 over 32, which we can reduce. We have a y minus 1/2 equals to a negative 1 over 32 x plus 1 over 8. We can add the 1/2 over, so negative 1 over 32x plus 1 over 8 plus a 1/2. I want to get a common denominator between the 1 over 8 and the 1/2, so I'll multiply this one by 4 over 4. So that will give us a negative 1 over 32x plus 1 over 8 plus a 4 over 8. And we can finish out by combining those. So we have a negative 1 over 32x plus 1 plus 4 plus 5 over 8. And there's the equation of the tangent line to that function at that point.